How's it going, guys? I'm Shifty Cow, and in today's video we're going to be talking about some of my concerns that I have for Battlefield 1. So before we get into it, I am still a little bit sick, so if you guys notice that my voice sounds a little bit different, that's probably why. And if you guys do go on to enjoy the video and you want to see more Battlefield content, be sure to hit that like button down below. But anyways, let's hop right into the video. So at the time of recording this video, the Battlefield 1 official reveal trailer, which came out about 2 weeks ago, currently has over 32 million views and 1.6 million likes, which for a video game trailer, that's pretty insane. To put that into perspective, the Star Wars Battlefront reveal trailer, which was super hyped up, people were really excited for this game, that came out over a year ago and only has 23 million views, and it also has 150,000 likes. So clearly, there is a ton of hype around this game, a lot of people are excited, and I really think it's going to bring a lot of new people into the Battlefield franchise, but there are still a lot of concerns I have for this game. The first of which is probably one you've already heard of, and that's content. There's been a ton of discussion online over weapons and vehicles and gadgets, and that's something that the Battlefield franchise has been known for, is having just an insane amount of options. But to be completely fair, there were just not as many options in World War I in terms of weapons or gadgets or customization options for weapons as there is today. If you look at Battlefield 4, which came out several years ago, it's a modern game, and at launch it had over 70 different weapons to choose from, whether that's a primary, a secondary, not even counting battle pickups. And then if you move to today, where they've released several different DLCs, they've given out free weapons, there's over 100 different weapons to choose from. So that's just a lot of variety, and overall that's just going to increase the longevity of any game. If you're getting bored with the AEK and you're going top of the team, switch over to something that's not quite as good, like the Mare's Leg. That's going to give you a lot more time to play, get better, and you're going to have to actually practice and kind of just start the game all over again and learn with it. So it's kind of just a bunch of variety, and I'm kind of fearful that it's just not going to have enough variety in a World War I setting. So maybe I'll be completely wrong and they'll come out with like 40 different weapons at launch, and that's just going to be the perfect number. It's going to be well balanced and it's not going to feel bloated, but really we're just going to have to wait and see what they actually do. So on top of that, we also have the problems of things like grenade launchers or rocket launchers, wire-guided missiles, TV missiles, all these different things that are really fun to play with. They're fun to master and play around with, shoot helicopters or jets down. Those didn't exist back then, and I'm kind of concerned that there's not going to be a very skillful way to take down biplanes, because it sounds like the only thing you can do is either hop into another biplane or potentially just use like an AA turret or some kind of AA vehicle, which we all know how well people love those in the Battlefield 4 franchise. Now, to DICE's credit, I'm sure they're going to get creative with some of the gadgets since there was such limited technology. Maybe we're going to have a pigeon and you can strap C4 onto it, or TNT I guess, and fly that up, and that'll be like the new UCAV or something like that. But it's really going to be tough for them to just replace things that people know and love so much, such as the SMA, the SRA, TV missiles. All those types of things are really fun to use and take down helicopters or jets or whatever, and I'm just kind of concerned that they're not going to be able to replace them in a World War I setting. So I still think it's going to be a great game. I just don't think that it's going to be able to match Battlefield 4's longevity, just because it doesn't have as many items or weapons or things like that. But moving on to maps, this is another thing I'm concerned about in terms of content. If you go on to the Deluxe Edition and you look at the pre-orders and what you can do if you pre-order it, essentially one of the things it says is that you'll get early access to one of the free map packs, which, you know, at first that's like, okay, cool, free map packs, those are really enjoyable. But the first thing I think of is Star Wars Battlefront, and having 4 maps at launch is really not a good way to go about developing a game. If you have 4 maps at launch and then you slowly release like 1 or 2 or 3 maps every couple of months, that really gets boring. Even if they are free maps, I would much rather have just 10 maps at launch than get 4 maps and then the 6 maps later. It's just a lot more variety, and I am happy that they are trying to give out free maps, but I'm really hoping it's not something that feels like it should just be included in the base game and be out already. So as for actual DLC, we haven't really gotten any news on whether there's going to be a premium membership like it was with Battlefield 4. To be completely honest, there are a lot of problems with that. You do split up the community and people can't play on all of the maps. But in my opinion, unless they're able to find a better way to source some money in so that way the developers can actually fund themselves and make a lot more DLC, I would much rather just flat out pay for them. I would rather have a season pass, and that way we can get a lot more DLC, something like 20 maps like Battlefield 4 has, then you have 30 maps total. That is a lot of content, and that's easily dividable over a couple of years or a year or so, so that way you're getting like 4 maps every couple of months, and that's a really good system. If you look at something like Rainbow Six Siege, which is trying something else, to be completely honest, I don't really like how they divide their maps. It is a totally different game, and I don't think this would work for their game because it is a smaller player base, but looking at the trailer and how much hype there is, I think this game's going to really sell well, and to be completely honest, even though it does split the community, I would much rather just have a season pass so that way we have a lot more content, they're going to make more money, and that's just a lot more longevity for the game. Now, of course, that is just my opinion. It would be awesome if we could get free DLC and we would get like 20 other maps because that would just be awesome. But realistically, it does cost money to make more maps and it is a lot harder on the developers and the publishers. I do think this game is going to sell incredibly well, but not so well to the point that they can just pump out a bunch of DLC for free. So really, we're just going to have to wait and find out, but those are some of the biggest concerns I have for Battlefield 1, and that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Feel free to leave your comments down in the comment section below, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you aren't already, but until tomorrow, guys, stay buttery.